Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. So I do hope everyone's keeping or doing their best to keep away from the dreaded lurgy. I think things are slowly going back to some kind of normality. I mean, I'm out on the road and it's taking me hours to get nowhere again as it did before. It's not quite as bad as it was, but things are slowly coming back. And today, the 3rd of August, I know there's a lot more people that have come off furlough today as well, so it's probably going to add to the traffic woes. But that's life. So this is the 3rd time I've actually tried to bring you this piece of video for this. So on the first one, none of this greenery was here, and then on the 2nd attempt this was in, but this bit wasn't done, and now it's the 3rd attempt and most of the greenery is in. Not that that's really going to matter, but normally you'd see, I normally like to show you the progression and then you sort of see the finished job at the end rather than at the beginning. But that's, as I say, that's due to the fact that I just wasn't happy with the video. I like to do my best. And on that score, or on that note, I have to say a big thank you to everyone that watched my last video. I know that the big boys, you know, 1,100 views is, you know, they'll get that in the first couple of seconds. But for me, I'm really, really pleased with that. I mean, to me, that's almost gone viral. And I don't think that's in any small part. You know, I think Model Rail Network played a big part in that. So I'd like to say thank you, a big thank you to Dave and the team for allowing me to join Model Rail Network. And if it can promote the hobby, then that's all good. It's not specifically about myself and my layout or anyone else's for that matter, but in general, if it can promote the hobby and also bring some people some joy, especially in these times, you know, then that's what it's all about. And that's why I make these videos. One, so as I can sort of document the progress on the layout or sometimes lack of progress on the layout, and two, because, you know, it's nice to see people watching them, enjoying them, commenting, and yeah, so that's what it's all about. So what have I done? These are scale model scenery. This, I don't know how well this is shot, but this is like the Scaledale lighterman's hut. I'm just using it as kind of like just a shed. It's something I sort of found. I've just sort of stuck it on there and stuck it in the undergrowth. So sort of a little bit buried there, but it's there. Same with these cable drums. Is something that's obviously been kicked off of a wagon some time ago, and they sort of a bit overgrown. That really come out quite well. I wasn't expecting that to be quite as good as it was, but I'm really pleased with that. So yeah, as if they've sort of been there, as I say, quite some time, and the overgrowth or the overgrownness has come through, or the grass has come through. A lot of these coloured ones are War Painter. I think there's another one called Boomtown Metals, amongst others. So these work really well. I mean, whether or not in the real world you would see quite so many different colours together as close as this, I don't know. But I must admit, as I've been out and about, I have been paying a lot more attention to nature, and I have found that there are, if you actually look, especially during the summertime, I suppose again it depends when you're modelling, that there are lots of different colours and bits and pieces out there. It's quite incredible actually when you actually start looking just how different it really is. So that's something I've tried to create on here, but I didn't want to go overboard, so I've sort of had to try and stop myself from, otherwise I'll sort of be just adding bits and pieces all the time. Oh, I think because I like something, I'll add that, and yeah, I don't want it to look too silly, so I've sort of told myself I need to stop now. This embankment here, I've sort of like more give that sort of like a more sort of deady look, if you like, as opposed to this. I was a bit concerned about whether or not you would sort of see fairly lush grass one side of the road and sort of fairly dead grass the other, but strange enough, when I've left the office this morning and I've drove up the dual carriageway, one side is really, really lush and the other side is quite like this. So it does happen. And also I wanted to keep this sort of like short like this effectively, so it's when you're taking photographs of the locos, you haven't got like, you know, it's all right building all this up with bushes and stuff, but it then impedes the picture. You can't get a picture of the loco. And part of what I like about this layout or any layout is I like to do my photography on it as well. So it's not just about the videos, but it's about actually using it as a backdrop for photographing. So that's why it's quite important to me to sort of make sure that I had a good view over the yard without too much here. But to put something here so as it didn't look too bland. And as I said, another reason why I built this up here and not there is because just in case anything gets knocked, I don't want it falling on the floor. So that'll act as a bit of a safety net, just in case this stuff parked here in the layout does get knocked. Does happen, it's reality, unfortunately. Anyway, so I think I probably said as much as I can about it in a moment. So we're going to get into the video. I'm going to start with the building of these, and then we'll carry on with what I've done with this, and then we'll see how we go from there. So enjoy the video, and thank you for watching. Today's video is carrying on from what I was talking about on the end of the last one with scrap lime. So I've got my pile of dirt. That's just dirt out of, not my garden, but a couple of gardens down. So, and I've got a sieve. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sieve it out to the smaller bits, and then we'll spread it around and see what sort of results we get. I've only ever done this once before, and that was just a little pile of sand on my other layout, Newcastle Haymarket. So where I had them digging the road out, I had sort of a pile of sand and stuff, but other than that I've never used real dirt. So this is an experiment to see what it's going to come out like. So I'm going to go off and sift this now, and I'll come back to you when I've done it. So I've just sieved it all out, and that's what I've ended up with. So that's pretty fine. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spread it through this area here, and I'll see how it looks. Give it a misting and glue it down and see how it looks afterwards. Okay, so another thing I wanted to try was just literally churning up some sort of like real leaves. So these have come, I had my hedge cut in my garden, so these are basically just bits and pieces that got blown onto my lawn. I left them out there to cook over the last couple of weeks, so that's literally, I just picked them up from my garden this morning and I'm going to chuck them in the slicer and dicer and see what happens. I don't know whether or not you're meant to break your leaves off. I'm not going to. That one's probably a bit thick. I'm not sure quite what's going to happen. Find out. Nothing. Helps if you plug it in. Oh yeah. Take two. Next thing I'll get is some fairy tale about the slicer not working properly. I don't know what you're talking about. Worked fine when I cut a tree up with it. Don't think it's that well now. and get my sieve, and we'll give that a sieve, see what happens. Okay, right, so put that in there like that. Take that out of there. And I've got some more fine leaf scatter, so I shall use that somewhere. Just add it to the sort of tips of the grass, then just sprinkle. Just to change it around a little bit. Okay, so the next bit I want to concentrate on, having now got as far as I need to get in the yard. Like I said, I don't want to carry on in the yard and just add and add and add, because eventually it'll probably go overboard. So I'm gonna leave it as it is for now. There's obviously the back scene, or the back, I need to paint that blue and do stuff with that, like all the way along here and sort of all round, which is probably something I should have done before I got this far, but that's just typical me. You know, I was more interested in, I'll start laying the track, I'll do this, I'll do that. Next thing you know, oh, I wish I'd done that. But that's one of them things. So going back probably 2 years, maybe, just under perhaps, Dave at Dean Park, he took a corner of his layout and actually put like a caravan park in, which I always admired, I always quite liked. So I went out and bought one of the Bachmann caravans that he'd used. I think he'd used 3, but I could only get 1. They were difficult to get hold of then, so I don't know whether or not, they're probably impossible to get hold of now unless you want to pay silly money for them on eBay. So I've got one, I don't know where it is, but I'll find it. But when I was looking through, this came up from Hornby, so this is new from Scaldale. It's a very similar thing. I mean, this is the sort of thing you probably would see on one of those campsites. This would be more of your fixed variety, but still the similar sort of building, if you like. So it does need quite a bit of weathering down and stuff. It is just straight out of the box, but that can all be done later. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to build a campsite, but I'm only going to use 2 instead of 3 because I've got less space even than what Dave has. So I don't want it going any further than this baseball joint here. So it's got to stay within this piece here. So I'm going to get the tunnel mouth, and that will go sort of across here somewhere, which will give me a little bit more space here. So I shall fill this in as well. So that'll open that area up. And then the road will have to come in sort of from here somewhere, and then it will come down and it will serve that. And then I'll put the caravan next to it, as Dave did. I'll put a fence sort of around here somewhere and a few bits of trees, and all nicely sort of a nice area up there, if you like, just to fill this area up with, which I think that'll work really well. And then as it goes into that area there, then it'll just be like this would be sort of more of a rugged sort of area. I'll put a footpath or something through there, and that should look pretty good as well. But I'm not going to do, I just want a bit sort of more greenery, so it will step from sort of greenery down through the track and into the canal here. So that's the plan for that. But rather than having that just sort of all, I could have just had that all sort of blend in, which I would have been quite happy with. But I've decided that since this is here and I've got the caravan somewhere, I would use it. So that's going to be the next bit I'm going to be working on. Once this video's out, I'm going to start on this. So we'll build the tunnel mouth to go in there, and then I'll get the top scene on here, and then I'll get the caravan in place. And then that'll be this board sort of getting towards finished. Finish off my last couple of little bits I've got to do down on the parcels depot as well, and then that'll be that. So that's the next bit to look forward to, or not, as the case may be, is the caravan park and what I'm going to do up here. Right, anyway, so everybody, thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and keep safe, and I'll come back to you when I've got some more. Thank you very much. Bye.